Hello and welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm Dr. Storme, and with nearly 30 years experience in the industry, I'm really excited to share practical insights, valuable wisdom, and all the tools that you need to build a thriving private practice. So whether you're a counsellor, psychologist, social worker, or play therapist, this podcast is all about keeping it real with stories, strategies, and all the support you need to help you flourish in business. We're going to be embracing a mind, business, spirit approach, diving into honest conversations that will uplift your practice and soul. And if you haven't already, come and join us in the Counsellors Connect Australia Facebook group. It's totally free and you'll find a warm, supportive community of like-minded professionals. So go grab your favorite drink, your journal, a pen, get cozy, and let's dive into the mind, business, spirit approach to private practice that you've been looking for. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to dive right in, and I thought what I might do today is just go through my community and answer some questions. So welcome. That's what we're going to do. Bit of a Q&A. So the first one that sort of popped up says, Hi, I've recently started my own online private practice. Yay, congratulations. But I'm struggling to find clients. I have an Instagram page with 700 followers. I have a Facebook page as well, and I've created my own website. I have paid ads running on Facebook and Instagram and still don't have any leads. I've signed up with Psychology Today. Bark seems to be a bit costly, and so do Google Ads. Does anyone know if Google Ads will help? So let me just jump in here. I'm just going to dive right in, okay? I think you're doing way too much and you're not focusing on the right things. You are going to, if you keep going like this, you're going to expend a lot of energy and you're not going to get results. Now, the thing for working in the health professions is that, nearly 80% of your clients are going to find you through your website. So you don't have to worry about running ads on Google, running ads on Facebook, running ads on Instagram, or any of those things. What you do need to do is spend time making sure that that website is working for you. So sometimes we think that the website is just kind of there as a bit of a placeholder, but it's not. The website has a job to do, and its job is to deliver you at a minimum between 3 and 5 inquiries each and every week. So if it's not doing that, there's no point going and paying for paid ads. And there's very little point in going and doing social media. You'll just waste your time, your money. You'll perhaps, increase the likelihood of imposter syndrome because you'll feel like, my employee mindset says I'm working really hard and therefore I should be getting all these rewards, but nothing's really happening. So I would say strip everything right back. Stop what you're doing. Put a pin in all your social. Don't worry about social media. Focus on your website first. And that means making sure that you've got really clear copy, a really clear message. You've got a really clear niche, that the website's compliant, all those kinds of things, right? So I wouldn't start working on your social media or anything like that until the website was converting for you. I also think that this is really important because even if you are going to go onto social media, people are still going to come to your website. And if that's not working, what's the point? Like, you'll be driving traffic over to it. So traffic is the number of visitors. You'll be driving traffic over to it, but nobody's actually going to take any action because it's not working. Either the niche is too broad, there's a lack of a message, it's not clear who you help, how you help, what result they're going to get from working with you, or perhaps even, as I said a moment ago, the website simply isn't compliant. So focus on the website first. That would be my suggestion. If you need help with it, book a website wellness checkup. You can do that through my website. It's brooklynstorme.com. Pop over there, book yourself a website wellness checkup and get some expert guidance. Get a fresh set of eyes onto your website and start there. The other thing too is it sounds like this person perhaps would really do well to get a marketing plan. It sounds like there's an absence of a marketing plan here, and also, an absence of a strategy. This feels very much like a scattergun approach, and it's really, really common. And that's why I wanted to speak into it this morning, because I know so many people do it because you kind of get desperate, right? You think, where are the clients? Where are the clients? I need to do more. I need to do more. You don't need to do more. You just need to do one or two things properly and you're going to be just fine. Okay. Now, the other one, somebody asked, does anyone use therapy card decks in their private practice? And what are some good ones for adults? So, yeah, I think therapy card decks are amazing. I love them. I use them all the time for different reasons. There are always going to be some people though, like I shared a post in one of the groups last year, I think it was, about how I use card decks with my clients, and how they're really, really great for helping people see old problems in new ways and things like that. And some therapists made the assumption that I was actually doing tarot readings for clients. No, it's not. When you use therapy decks, you're not doing readings for people. It is ethical. It is therapeutic. There's all sorts of different therapeutic modalities that do use cards without you doing a reading. So some of the cards that I really like to use are what are they called? They're the interactive cards. They're for parts. You can buy them online. I think they're about $80. They're really, really good cards to have. They look like sketches, almost like a cartoon, and you can use them with adults, children, couples, and people identify, different parts of themselves that are trying to come through or that need some support and things like that. So really, really valuable. The other ones that I use are the Power Symbols by Roz Place from Oracle Card Academy. These are really beautiful, simple cards to use. The cards are just normal card deck size. They're white and they've got a teal sort of circle, big teal circle. And on top of the big teal circle is a gold icon, gold element. So some of them are coins. One is a butterfly, one is a circle, one is a feather, one is a sun, one is a pathway, one is a bee, things like that. So it's not really a highly detailed picture. It's just a symbol, but they're so good. And they've got words on them as well, like time for change, new beginnings await, things like that. But they're fantastic for opening up conversations with clients. And the other cards that I really love to use, now I've got the original set here. She's since published a revised version, so I should probably get that. But it's called Ask Your Guides by Sonia Cicchetti. Now, you would not use these in a spiritual sense. The reason that I like to use these is because the pictures on the cards are highly detailed. They have a lot of color in them. They have different shapes and they have numbers. And so all I do is give the card deck to the clients. The clients will choose a card based on our conversation at the time, and we'll talk them through what do you think drew you to this one? What do you think it means for you? What do the colors mean? What do the shapes mean? What's the sense that you get when you hold the card? All those kinds of things. So it can be really, really fantastic when used in a therapeutic setting. But as I said, you're not doing readings for people. You're using the elements of the card to help people who get in their heads and feel a little bit stuck to see things in a more creative way. So it's more about problem solving and supporting that client who has trouble articulating what's going on to access perhaps information that they can't otherwise access because it's in their subconscious mind or in their subconscious awareness. So does that make sense? So there are a couple of decks there. Hopefully that helps. And of course the strengths cards from Innovative Resources are fantastic as well. Okay. And then the other question that we had was somebody is doing a networking event. How exciting! And they've been given a table to promote their counselling business. She's been trying to decide what promotional materials to have or give away to bring people over to have a chat. She was thinking she should use business cards, have a flyer promoting the services offered in the niche, have a QR code on the poster for bookings, have an information sheet, and what else would you have? Well, I think that you've probably got enough there. The other thing that I would do though is maybe if you have a checklist, some kind of self-scoring assessment, some kind of self-scoring questionnaire or quiz or things like that. They tend to be really, really popular. So I would have one of those and, distribute them. And, people will come back and they'll say, oh, well, I got this score. What does it mean? And you'll be able to give them like a quick overview. Oh, well, this means X, Y, and Z. And from there, you can get them to book in for, if you're doing discovery calls, which I know some of you are, you can get them to book in for a 15-minute chat with you. Or if you like, take your iPad or your laptop and just book them straight into the calendar while you're there, get payment at the time of booking. So that's all I would do. If that's going to feel too much, take somebody with you who knows how to use your online booking system and take payment and get them to book people in, okay? But the thing to remember here is take some process with you so that you can get people booked into sessions on the spot. That's going to be the easiest way and you'll have conversions galore. So, the other thing too is with business cards and things like that. Of course, the biggest thing that's going to help you get conversions from this networking event is your ability to build rapport with people. So you're going to have to talk with people, mingle, answer questions, things like that. Ask them questions about themselves. How are they going? What are they doing? How are they finding things, etc., etc., etc. Sometimes what happens when we go to networking events is we kind of spam people with this is all about me, 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 and that can be very repellent. We don't want to do that. We want to draw clients in, and so the way to do that is to ask questions or to use some kind of lead magnet, which would be like a simple checklist. And maybe even if they had that checklist, if you had an iPad, they could do the checklist on the iPad. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. The other thing to do would be take your iPad with you or your laptop with you and get people to sign up to your newsletter while they're there. That way you're collecting email addresses and then you'll be able to trigger like an email workflow. You can send them some free things. You can nurture new leads and things like that. So that would be a wonderful process there for you to implement as well. Okay. What else? What other questions have we got? I'm just having a quick look. Recovering unpaid fees. This is such a good question. This person says, I have plenty of policies in place for payments which work for everyone else, but one client refuses to answer emails or calls. Can I post an invoice as another contact attempt, or could that be an issue for confidentiality? I don't think it's an issue for confidentiality at all. I think you need to have a look at you said you've got plenty of policies in place for payment. In there, does it explain to them what's going to happen if they don't make a payment? That's number one. And it really does need to be very, very clear. And if you're going to be following up in any way, shape or form, include information about what that follow-up is going to look like, including whether or not you'll be passing things on to debt collection agencies. It's unfortunate that we have to think about this, but, it happens. Even in my business, working with you guys, there are bad apples. Unfortunately, there are some people who will come and download all your stuff and run away with it and never pay you. Or there'll be people who come along and they have a service and you be understanding and you be flexible about the money, and then they'll just bugger off and I shouldn't have said that. They'll just run away and not pay you. So it happens with, professional people do this as well as regular clients. So have a really clear policy in place. My policy is super clear. If you don't pay, and there've been multiple attempts, so I give you 3 invoices, and then I do send an invoice in the post. And if you still haven't responded and you still haven't made payment, then it just goes straight to collections at your expense. And you agree to that when you sign up to work with me. And then it's up to them to follow it up. And yes, we will be putting information on your credit score if you refuse to pay for whatever reason. So just be really, really clear. I think sometimes we get hesitant and we think, oh, is it okay to chase somebody? Is it ethical? Blah, 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 blah. I think it is, as long as you've got all that information up front about what your process is for debt collection and payments processing. The other thing too is I'd make sure that you've got very clear policies up front about getting paid on the day, or prepayment or deposits. I know you're all doing something different. Learn from this. There are always going to be some people that do the wrong thing, unfortunately. It's just going to happen, right? You're running a business and it's not always going to be smooth. There are always going to be people who try and dodge their invoices, no matter who they are, where they're from, what their background. It happens across the board, but just be super clear with your policies right from the outset. And if you're not getting payment at the time of booking, implement it right now. And also, have a policy there where if somebody's got an outstanding invoice, they can't see you until that outstanding invoice is paid, right? Because otherwise what's going to happen is you'll have an accumulation of unpaid invoices. This happens a lot with EAP clients. It can happen a lot with NDIS clients as well. Sometimes you're seeing somebody, they're in the diary for Tuesday, and you go in and you have a look at your invoices and they're still 3 behind. And do you know what I mean? So make sure that you've got some good, strong, robust policies around that. I certainly do. I make sure that, if you've got one invoice and it's outstanding with me, I will tentatively book your next appointment on the understanding that invoice is caught up before we meet again, right? So just make sure that you've got some really good policies around that and start getting payment at the time of booking. This is the other thing too, like be mindful with your SMSs. Those of you who are sending SMSs and things like that, remind your clients that their appointments are considered confirmed at the time that they book them, and that you're under no obligation whatsoever to remind them that they've got an appointment. That's just a nice thing that you do because you're a nice person. You're a caring business, you're an understanding business, and you just want to provide that little extra touch of, hey, heads up, you've got a session with me, in 2 days' time at 10 o'clock. Nobody should be writing back yes or no, is what I'm saying. If you get people writing back yes or no, then what you're saying is that when that SMS comes through, that the appointment's not confirmed until they write yes or no. And then that's going to make it harder for you to keep the diary going, organise your cancellations, do your reschedules and things like that. So simplify everything for yourself and let them know that all appointments are considered confirmed when they're booked. And anything subsequent to that, like the little SMS, let them know it's a reminder. It is not a confirmation text. Okay. All right. Let me see if there's anything else. Let me just have a quick look. No, I don't think there's anything else at the moment. Okay. There is one thing that I wanted to share with you though, and that was around scarcity mindset. And this came about as a result of the recent launch into the private practice certification. So welcome to all of the new students. I'm so excited to help you with your private practice. Okay. So one of the things that came up was I sent an email out to everybody after the workshop had finished. I sent an email out to people who had registered for the workshop asking them, I noticed that you didn't enroll. I'd love to understand why, because this will help me, fix things moving forward for the next intake of enrolments, which is April, May next year. And a whole bunch of people wrote back, and it was so helpful. And what was I going to say? Oh, and one of the things that came up was around scarcity mindset. So I thought might be helpful to speak into this now, because it seems to be something that pops up for a lot of us. So here's what I think. I don't think scarcity mindset has anything really to do with money. I don't. I think what's going on is that scarcity mindset is more about how safe you feel. For example, you might be thinking, I don't know if I can spend money on whatever it is for your practice, right? I don't know if I can spend money on that, because then that's going to take away money from this, that, or the other. And then that will make me feel not safe. That will put me in a vulnerable position, financially, or with my partner, or with a relationship, or something. So I don't think scarcity mindset is about the money. I think it's about feeling safe. So what could be helpful is to think about, okay, so I want to share with you an exercise that I learned from one of my coaches that can be really, really helpful. We're just going to apply it to this idea of scarcity mindset. So if you want to, maybe grab yourself your journal and your pen, or hit pause, go and grab them and then come back. Or if you're driving, just listen and maybe make mental notes. But the idea is that your circumstances can't change what's going on inside of you, but what's going on inside of you can change your external circumstances. And the exercise that I want to share with you is to really come up with 3 or 4 words that describe the opposite of scarcity. So for me, if I'm thinking about making an investment in my business, in my private practice, and I start to feel nervous and unsafe about it, I'm going to stop and think, okay, what are 3 or 4 words that describe the opposite of scarcity for me? So I would say things like trust, ease, safety, and joy. Right? For me, they're the opposite of feeling unsafe. For me, the opposite of unsafe is feeling safe, is trusting, things feeling easy, and maybe even things feeling very joyful. Once you've got those 4 words, start to make it a daily practice of expressing gratitude for each of those 3 or 4 feelings. Right? So you can do this by contemplation. You could do it by writing things out. It's really up to you. I find it more effective when I write things out, but finding gratitude for situations on a day-to-day basis that have allowed you to trust. Like, I trusted that my computer was going to work today. I trusted that there'd be petrol in the car. I trusted that I could go and get a coffee from the bakery this morning. Thinking about things that happen in my day that were easy and where I felt at ease, and writing down in a little journal all the reasons why I'm thankful for those feelings of ease. And so what we're starting to do is shift the feeling. And when we start to shift the feeling, we'll start to shift what's happening in the world around us. I would say maybe even try this for yourself as a practice for 30 days and just see what happens. It can be very, very powerful. I know it really helped me understanding that I can give myself the feeling of safety, and it's got nothing to do with the money, right? And I know how that sounds to some of you. You're probably having a mild panic attack now just listening to this. But maybe this is what you needed to hear today. And maybe this is an invitation for you to think about your 3 or 4 words that are the opposite of scarcity or the opposite of feeling unsafe. And this is your invitation to try and work with those, bring those feelings into your awareness more and more and more, and see what happens to that feeling of scarcity, over the next month or so. That's just an idea. Well, I hope that this was a helpful episode for you to listen to. I am going to quickly pop down to Woolies and get some groceries because guess what? At 10:30, Bathurst starts. So for those of you who don't live in Victoria or maybe don't live in Australia, Bathurst is a car race. And it goes all day long. And it's a bit of a tradition with me. I love to just give myself the day off to go and watch the car race. I love it so much. So I want to go and get some nice nibblies. I got a snackle box off Temu. It's a box that's got like heaps of different compartments in it. The one that I got is a circle shape and it's kind of got some, each of the sections is in a swirl. So I'm going to put some strawberries in one, some cabana in another, some grapes in another, some cashews in another, some pretzels in another. Do you know what I mean? And just like mix it all up a little bit and you just graze on my little snackle box for the next 10 hours really while I just sit on my behind and watch the car racing. So I'm just switching off now, but I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend too. And yes, if you're in the Diploma Counsellor Society, I will see you tomorrow. We've got our call, and also for those of you who are in the private practice certification class, all those students, we've got a session in the morning tomorrow as well. So I'll see you then. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye. I really hope that you got so much enjoyment, value, and insights out of this episode today. And if you did, please feel free to go ahead and leave a review. When you leave a review, it means that more therapists can access this help and support and tools to support them in their private practice and in their journeys. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Have a gorgeous day.